on the field. And I want to ask you, Ryan, is Max Borghi the best running back in the Pac-12?
Well, I'll give you an extended answer. I'll say yes, and he has been. So over 800 yards rushing last season, which obviously didn't top the pack with Zach Moss and whatnot,
Yeah,
offensive player of the year
absolutely.
for the Pac-12 last year. Pac-12 last year. So I mean, 800 yards rushing is not the top in the conference, but the 600 yards receiving is the one that I pay most attention to, especially at that running back position, because none of the top running backs last year even came close to Borghi's receiving stats. And to have a dual threat running back like Borghi is just unmatched in the Pac-12.
Yeah, I mean, there's no denying what Max Borghi has done on the field and can do going forward. My only issue is he the most talented running back? Yes, that might be the case. But if you're asking me, am I picking who's gonna be the best running back when the Pac-12 steps on the field? Who's gonna have the best statistical season? I'm probably gonna go with the field just based off how variable that position can be. You look at some of the guys coming back. Yeah, a lot of the top rushers are gone, but C.J. Verdell is still there. He finished second. Um, uh, in the Pac-12 in rushing behind Zach Moss. You've got, guys like Jamar Jefferson who had a great freshman year and is on an Oregon State team that's not the best, but I mean he can just take tons of carries. Christopher Brown from Cal, Alex Fontenot from Colorado, Richard Newton from unfortunately UW, Stephen Carr from USC. Like these are all guys with very good talent, and any one of them can lead the Pac-12 in rushing. Max Borghi might have the best talent, but that doesn't mean he's going to have the best season. So I think that is kind of where this comes into play. That is he the best running back in the Pac-12? I don't know because he might not have the best numbers when the season's all said and done.
Well, I'll bring it back to Zach Moss because I'm sure we both agree that he was probably the best running back performance-wise last season,
Oh yeah,
just with the
absolutely.
1,400 yards rushing. So
He killed it.
if we bring it back to Zach Moss and compare him with Max Borghi, Max Borghi had 16 total touchdowns last season compared to 17 for Zach Moss. So just one less than the best performing running back in the Pac-12 last year. And to think he couldn't even get a rushing touchdown in that Pac-12 championship game. But that's besides the point. Most draft profiles you saw on Zach Moss back in the day, or a couple months ago, they said he was a day two guy. Fifth, sixth rounder. He ended up going in the third to Buffalo. He ended up getting a touchdown yesterday. Shout out to him. But a day two guy across the board for draft profiles, and a lot of his pro comparisons, from what I saw at least. I mean, the best comparison I saw attached to his name was Kareem Hunt, which Kareem Hunt's is a great running back, and I'd love to be compared to Kareem Hunt any day of the week. But what do Wazoo fans compare Borghi to every day of the week? Christian McCaffrey, top running back in the NFL, Stanford guy, even a Pac-12 guy at that. Borghi was going to go to Stanford before he came to WSU. I mean, he has all the DNA of Christian McCaffrey behind him, and I'd rather have Christian McCaffrey than Kareem Hunt. Let's just say that.
Yeah, I've kind of got a lot of problems with that comparison. Like, I think the main reason why he gets compared to Christian McCaffrey is because he's kind of from the same area and because he's just a white running back that, catches the ball and does what he does. But, you know,
He
Christian
catches the ball
McCaffrey's
pretty well, Cody.
yeah, but Christian McCaffrey's the best running back in the NFL. Like that's like comparing any college quarterback to
Debatable,
Patrick
yeah.
Mahomes. Like you're Max Borghi's great, but Max Borghi isn't Christian McCaffrey. There's plenty of other running backs with similar profiles that are a little more realistic for a Max Borghi. Like I think Christian McCaffrey is just selling it a little too high. I think that the very intriguing comparisons are there, but I mean, Christian McCaffrey was breaking Barry Sanders' single season total yardage records in college. Like Max Borghi is great, but let's pump the brakes before we say that he's a top 3 Heisman finalist and borderline Heisman winner. Like I don't know if I really agree with that. I think he's great, but I think if he had a different physical profile, we wouldn't be saying Christian McCaffrey.
Well, Heisman winner is a bit of a different conversation with Borghi, but if we're just talking about total yards, like you're bringing up, Christian McCaffrey's numbers compared to Barry Sanders, Borghi nearly doubled his yards from scrimmage last season alone, and that was on more pass attempts from the air raid Mike Leach offense. Now with the new offense, with the run and shoot, incorporating more of the run attack for Borghi, I mean, you're going to see more stats from Borghi just based off of the improvement he made from year 1 to year 2 in nearly every statistical category. I'd say it goes far past just the background and the appearance of Borghi to compare to Christian McCaffrey. I mean, the stats back it up with how he is on the preseason list for the best receiver in the nation and the best running back in the nation. I mean, how many running backs do you know that end up on both lists?
Yeah, I think that's really impressive. But one of the things I kind of want to do is looking at Borghi's stats and kind of 6.4 yards per carry. That did lead the conference last year. Like, it was impressive. He had far less carries than a lot of people that were also in the top 10 where he finished. But I went through. I kind of looked at how many carries Nick Rolovich, because there is a new coach. We don't know. Like, he's not going to be used the same. Nick Rolovich used his running backs. And if Max Borghi got the same amount of carries as Nick Rolovich's top rushers averaged over his 4 years in Hawaii, I think it was somewhere in the 1,100 yard range, which is really good. It would have been third last year. So I'm not saying that's a knock against him, but I'm just saying, it's not like we think, oh, he's going to get so many more carries, he's going to rush for 2,000 yards. Like, that's not the case. He's 1,100, 1,200 yards, and he's lost 2